So today's tutorial is going to be about... Are you going to tell them what today's tutorial is about?
Yeah, I'm going to tell them right now.
Cloning yourself in FilmoraPro. But first, I've got to go hang some Christmas lights on the house. So let's do that, then we'll get to the tutorial.
Alright, so here we are on the computer. Just disregard this spot here on the left. This is kind of what you've already seen. This is the clip we've imported that we're going to work on. So we have our main clip, we'll call that clip 1, which we broke up into 2 sections. So the first part of it is where I start talking about what today's topic is going to be. Then we have I just separated it, and this is where I look over. So then your next part, your next clip, is your clone that comes in. Now, here's some tips that you want to make sure you do when it comes to cloning. You want to make sure you have even light across the scene. You want to make sure that if you have somebody, like in this case I didn't, so it made it a little bit tougher, that you have somebody there to read your part back to you when you're acting as the clone, or vice versa. Then you also want to make sure you have no moving background, because if you have a moving background, it's going to make this edit way harder, and it's definitely outside of my skill level, so I'm not even going to try to attempt it right now. I probably need to watch a few YouTube videos to figure out how it's done. So once we have that part set up, you have your clip, you have your lighting, you're going to see where I messed up with the lighting on this, and we're going to have to do a little feathering. But to make this all work, we just need to use some masking tools. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first clip, we'll call this clip 1 here, and this clip 2. So clip 2, I divided it into 2 parts, from where I'm just standing there not saying anything to then where I'm talking. So what I want to do with the first part is scrub over to where I start talking, and I'm just going to bring this clip on top of it. So, alright, so we're going to start talking about cloning. And if you have to hear different things, if you go over to the left hand side here, if you click on the eyeball, you can get rid of a track. And if you click on the speaker, it gets rid of the audio. So then what we want to do is then... well, we'll work on this part first, and we'll go to the next part. So what we want to do is then click on the top part, because that's the part we want to mask. And then we just want to zoom this out a little bit, go over to your masking tool, which you'll find between the selection tool and the text tool. Now, it might look like this. Mine's set up to go to the freehand tool, and to get there, all you have to do is left click on it, hold it down, and then you can pick what you want. Now, you could use the rectangle tool for this. I'm sure it would work just fine. I like to use the freehand tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask some points out here. And don't forget, you can change this stuff as need be. Why is it not letting me? What am I doing here? Okay, so there's a point. See, I was on the wrong clip and it wouldn't let me put the masking tool on. So it's kind of helpful that way. Now you can see both clips are there. You want to make sure that if it's selected to none, you're not going to see anything. You want to do add, or you can do replace. I prefer just to stay with add. This here inverts the mask, which we don't need. Okay, so you can see that there's a hard line there. If we come back down here and play it, you can see the color duration, the way the color looks on the wall here. So what we want to do is we want to go over to this little arrow here, go over to transform. We want to do, not transform, we want to go to shape. So close transform, back up, feather. Now you can do in, out, or both. I like to do both. And then we're just going to tweak this just so slightly to where everything matches, and that looks pretty good. So when you play it, now I come in, you can barely see that there's any line there, and that's what it looks like. On how to. So I want to bring this clip back over, and then we're going to take this second clip and bring it over here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go get our masking tool. We're going to put some points on here. Go around, connect it. So now I'm looking. We're going to go over to the arrow, shape, feather both. Bring that up a little bit. Now, one thing you can do is, if you don't want to do it this way, is put the mask in the second clip all at one time. Don't split the clip ahead of time, and then you won't have to run into issues like this where you want to make sure that the wall matches. So just a little tidbit there of something I didn't think about until after the fact. So if we come down here now.
Are you going to tell them what today's about? That part.
Now you can see, because I didn't have somebody reading me the script, I have to now move this stuff around here to make sense. So one thing you can do if that happens is, you see over here I have a PNG file. You can bring the PNG file over. Let's see if I can do it real quick. Okay, so what I did real quick, I just paused it and did some stuff here because it just took me a second. Because I didn't have anybody read the lines back to me, so I didn't know the exact time frame to pause, what you can do is, if you have to put in a static picture, just go over to options, hit export frame. It'll export that one frame into a PNG like I have over here. Then you can bring that into your timeline, match it up to where now I'm stationary, which I'll show you what I did over here. So when you see me talking,
are you going to tell?
Right there, that file is a PNG file, and it's just me standing still. It's basically just a still image, and I just used the mask to make it look like I was talking to it. Now, the other way you can do it is what I did over here, was just basically what took me some time, and I know nobody wants to watch that, is just tweaking the points where everything coexists, or where everything matches up. So this is what it looks like.
By and checking out another video today. Today's going to be a tutorial on how to. Are you going to tell them what today's about? Getting to that part. Give me a second.
Now, what we don't want to do is just have myself disappear like that. So again, what I did was let's see, we'll do it right now. So what I did is I took this frame here, hit export frame. That should be over here. Let's see, we're just going to save that into YouTube. We'll just call this Aaron. Save it. Okay, I guess I've already done that one. So Aaron 1. Okay, so now that I've saved that frame, what I'm going to do is import it, if my computer ever catches up. And we're going to go to Aaron 1. See, there's the first one I did. Open it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drag it over here. So what's going to happen is, this looks right.
On how to. Are you going to tell them what today's about? Getting to that part. Give me a second.
So now what I want to do is I need to now put a mask on that one. So you can see that this can be a lot easier if you have somebody reading your what do you call it? Your lines to you or back to you. Sorry, I can't do two things at once. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to subtract, and that should take me out of there. Oh, I subtracted on the wrong one. See? Get rid of that mask. This is why it's very important to make sure you have the right one highlighted, and you guys can see me make the mistakes live. There we go. I had to do replace. Had it wrong. So we can get rid of the invert off. Yep. So you want invert, replace. God, it's been a while since I've done this. So what happens now is when we're going through this, sorry if that's a little confusing. I'll cover it all over again at the end.
Another video today.
But this is what it looks like. So now I'm talking.
Today's going to be
my clone comes in.
On how to. Are you going to tell them what today's about? Getting to that part. Give me a second.
Now, you can see there's a line there. So let me just zoom on that. So you see that line? Because this now is on the still image. So what I want to do is go up to the shape, feather both, and then bring that feather up to where it disappears. So now, quick recap on what we did. We had two clips. The first one being, and then you can do is just extend this all the way to whenever the clip ends. So what we did is we had two clips. We had this clip here that we broke up into two sections. We had the second clip, which we broke up into two sections. We put a mask over the clip by scrolling out, selecting the masking tool, masking the section we wanted, going over to the mask under your controls here, go to the shape, feather, both, feather strength, and let me bring it up. This one's about 380 to get rid of the hard line that was there because I made the mistake of not making sure my lighting was the same once I was sitting over here, which then caused shadows that I had to get rid of. Then, because we just don't want me to disappear while I'm still talking, we exported a screenshot. So we went to that frame, we went over to options, we went over to export, we saved that PNG file, we then imported it. We then went up and we did another mask on me this time because we want to show the underneath part of me talking with my static self here in the image. We did replace, we did invert, we went again to shape, feather, both, and then we went to about 220 because it's a little bit of a different angle. But we could, because it is a PNG file, it's going to show a little bit differently, but you could put it at the same 380 I think the other one was. Now, that's it. You've now cloned yourself, and let's take a look at what it looks like from the beginning here. So, scale to fit, and this is what it looks like.
Hey, what's up everyone? Eric Bowman here. Thanks for coming by and checking out another video today. Today's going to be a tutorial on how to, are you going to tell them what today's about? Getting to that part. Give me a second. On how to clone yourself in FilmoraPro. But first, I have to go hang some Christmas lights on the house because it's fairly nice out, so let's go do that first.
So, as you can see, it looks a little cheesy with me standing there as a PNG file. So that's why, again, like I said, it's very important if you have somebody else to do this with, or time yourself with like your phone, you can set your timer on it and see how long your part of talking interacts, your part is. So when you're interacting with yourself, you can then time yourself to stand there statically. If it's 30 seconds or a minute, you can stand there, maybe move around a little bit in the picture. You don't have to do a PNG. Unfortunately, I didn't think of that when I started doing this, so I had to do that route with the image in there. It still gets the point across. Do I like it? No, it's not as good as it could be. And again, I kind of rushed this one. Sometimes I'm a little too particular on how I do stuff. So instead of being finicky over it, I decided just to get it done and do it. So that is how we do the cloning in Filmora. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, please, if you found anything in this video useful. And again, I try to do my edits live without too much editing of my edits, so you see the mistakes I make as I'm doing it, because I think that's one way that people really learn is by other people's mistakes. So thanks again for watching. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see done next in Filmora, and we'll see you on the next video.